Settle yourself into a comfortable position, allowing the day's noise to fade into the background. You are about to step away from the present and drift into another time, another world. A world of dust and discipline, of shining armor beneath the hot sun, of ordered camps and the steady rhythm of marching feet. Tonight, we'll walk slowly through the lives of the men who built an empire, the Roman legionaries. They were the backbone of Rome's expansion, the silent force that pushed its borders ever outward. Their story is not one of glory alone, but of routine, repetition, and quiet endurance. Over the next 2 hours, we will journey through 4 chapters of Rome's history. We'll begin with the day-to-day realities of a common soldier. Then, we'll pause to follow the life and fate of Julius Caesar, whose ambition would change the Republic forever. From there, we'll stroll through the streets of Pompeii, preserved in an eternal moment. Finally, we will step into the refined calm of a Roman villa, where marble floors and shaded gardens tell another side of the story. There will be no rush in this journey. The past moves at its own pace, and tonight you will move with it. Imagine the early morning stillness of a Roman military camp. The air is cool, carrying the faint scent of canvas, oiled leather, and last night's embers slowly dying in the watchfires. You are lying on a simple bedroll, a thin blanket pulled around your shoulders. The ground beneath is uneven, hard, and still carries the memory of the previous day's heat. A voice calls out in Latin. Steady, unhurried, but impossible to ignore. It is the centurion making his morning round. The day begins not with comfort, but with duty. First, you rise and fold your blanket with precision. Everything has its place in a legionary's kit. A disorderly camp is not tolerated. Nearby, other soldiers are already strapping on their caligae, heavy-soled military sandals, and securing their belts. The familiar metallic rattle of gear being lifted, fastened, and checked becomes the soundtrack of the morning. Your armor, the Larica segmentata, is not light. It fits close to your body, the overlapping metal plates shifting slightly as you move. Beneath it, the padded tunic is already warm against your skin, though the sun has yet to climb high. The helmet, solid, close-fitting with cheek guards, rests nearby, ready for the march ahead. Altogether, your equipment weighs around 20 to 25 kilograms, and that is only the armor. The rest of your burden is carried in a furca, a wooden pole slung over your shoulder. From it hang cooking pots, a water skin, spare clothing, food rations, and tent sections. Each soldier is responsible for carrying his own supplies, along with part of the shared gear for the contubernium. The group of 8 soldiers who share a tent, once the camp begins to stir, orders are given for the day's march. The Roman army is a machine that moves on foot. 20 miles is not unusual. The pace is steady, relentless, the sound of dozens, hundreds, or even thousands of feet beating a single rhythm into the earth. Along the way, the landscape changes, rolling hills, dusty plains, the occasional village where curious faces peer out from doorways. You do not stop long. At midday, there might be a short break to eat bread, dried fruit, or cheese. The water you drink is tepid, having warmed in the skin under the sun. Then, the march resumes. Arriving at the chosen site for the night is not a time to rest. It is a time to build. Every evening, no matter how weary, the legion constructs a fortified camp. A ditch is dug, an earthen rampart raised, stakes driven in for a palisade. This ritual is as important as the march itself, a habit that has kept the army secure for centuries. Inside the finished camp, tents are pitched in precise rows. Cooking fires are lit, the scent of boiling grain drifting into the evening air. Conversations are quiet, often practical, news from home, rumors of the next posting, the price of wine in the last town passed. When night falls, the camp grows still again. Guards pace along the rampart, their spears catching the last faint light of the moon. You lie down once more on the hard earth, wrapped in your thin blanket, knowing that tomorrow will begin in the same way. The same voice in the half-light, the same weight on your shoulders, the same endless road ahead. The Bay of Naples, in the summer of the year 79 CE, was a place of warmth and gentle breezes. The sea glimmered under a high sun, fishing boats rocked quietly in the harbor. The streets of Pompeii bustled with the familiar rhythms of a prosperous Roman town. You can imagine walking down its main street. Stone-paved roads, worn smooth by the passing of carts and sandals, guide you between tightly packed buildings. Shops are open to the street, their counters displaying fresh bread, jars of olives, or bolts of dyed cloth. The air carries a mixture of scents: warm bread from the bakeries, salty temps of the nearby sea, and the faint sweetness of ripe fruit in the marketplace. The houses, for those who could afford them, open inward to shaded courtyards. A pool in the center reflects the pale blue of the sky, and mosaics beneath your feet tell intricate stories in tiny pieces of colored stone. Frescoes decorate the walls, landscapes, myths, and scenes of daily life, their colors still vivid under the Mediterranean light. In the Forum, people gather to talk politics, trade goods, or simply watch the passing crowd. The temple steps are cool beneath the feet, its columns tall and steady, the marble polished by generations of hands. Life here feels ordered, familiar, and secure. But just beyond the edge of the city, a mountain stands. It is called Vesuvius, and in this moment, it is quiet. So quiet, in fact, that most do not think of it at all. The fields on its slopes are green, its soil rich and fertile from past eruptions long forgotten. On the morning of August 24th, that calm breaks. A deep, distant sound, like the shifting of stone within the earth, is followed by a rising column of dark ash. It climbs higher and higher into the sky, its top flattening into a great shadow that spreads slowly outward. As the hours pass, fine ash begins to fall over the city. It settles on rooftops and gardens and on the shoulders of those who look up in wonder. Soon the air grows thick, the sun fading to a muted glow behind the ash cloud. Some begin to leave, gathering their belongings. Others stay, uncertain of the danger. By nightfall, the ground trembles. Small stones fall from above, mixing with the ash until the streets are coated in a shifting, uneven blanket. The sea retreats slightly from the shore, the water drawn back by forces unseen. In the early hours of the next day, Vesuvius unleashes its most violent surge, a torrent of superheated gas and ash, a pyroclastic flow, races down its slopes. It moves faster than a horse can run, silent until it strikes. When it reaches Pompeii, it buries the city in moments. Walls collapse under the weight, roofs vanish beneath the deepening layer, and the air becomes unbreathable. And then, silence. The streets that had been filled with merchants and children's laughter lie empty, hidden beneath meters of ash. Pompeii remains there, unseen, for nearly 17 centuries. When it is rediscovered in the 18th century, the world is astonished. Beneath the ash, the city is preserved almost as it was on that summer day. Frescoes still bright, loaves of bread still in the ovens, cups still resting on tables. Even the ruts of cartwheels remain in the streets. Walking through the excavated ruins today, you might hear the crunch of gravel underfoot, the distant voices of tour guides, and the soft rustle of leaves in the breeze. The buildings stand roofless under the open sky, but their walls still speak. They tell of lives interrupted, of moments that became eternal. Pompeii is more than a ruin. It is a memory, captured in stone and ash, waiting for anyone who cares to listen. And now, from the stillness of a buried city, we will step into another Roman world. One not of soldiers or common townsfolk, but of wealth, refinement, and deliberate leisure. Far from the clatter of military camps and the busy streets of provincial towns, there is another side to Roman life. A world of cultivated gardens, shaded porticos, and polished marble floors. This is the world of the Roman elite, where the day moves slowly and deliberately, measured not by the march of a legion, but by the turning of the sun across an open courtyard. Imagine walking along a quiet gravel path. The morning air is cool, carrying the fragrance of rosemary, lavender, and the faint sweetness of ripening figs. Ahead, a grand villa rises in pale stone, its tiled roof catching the soft light. The entrance is marked by tall columns, their bases ringed with clay pots of laurel and olive. Inside, the air shifts. Cooler here, shaded by thick walls and high ceilings. The floors are mosaics, their tiny tesserae arranged into scenes of hunts, sea voyages, and mythic tales. You step carefully, your sandals making a faint sound against the polished surface. The heart of the home is the atrium, an open hall where sunlight falls through a rectangular opening in the roof. Beneath it, a shallow pool of water. The impluvium catches the light, sending ripples of reflection onto the surrounding walls. It is here that guests are greeted, the space arranged to display both hospitality and wealth. Moving deeper into the villa, you find the triclinium, the dining room. 3 couches are arranged around a low table. Here, meals are long, unhurried affairs. Servants bring trays of roasted meats, olives, fresh bread, and dishes seasoned with herbs and garum, the savory fish sauce beloved by the Romans. Wine is poured, often mixed with water, and cooled in snow, brought from distant mountains. Through an archway, the villa opens to a peristyle garden. Tall columns surround beds of flowers, fountains trickle softly, and marble statues stand among citrus trees. It is a place designed for conversation, reading, or simply enjoying the shade on a warm afternoon. In the private rooms, rich fabrics cover low couches, and shelves hold scrolls of poetry, philosophy, and history. Oil lamps carefully crafted from bronze or terracotta rest ready for the evening hours. Beyond these chambers lies the balneum, the private bath, where warm water flows into marble basins and steam rises gently into the air. The life of the villa moves with the seasons. In summer, shutters are drawn to keep the rooms cool, and meals are often taken outdoors in the evening breeze. In winter, braziers are lit, their faint scent of charcoal mixing with the sharper fragrance of burning cedar. From here, the empire can feel distant. The clamor of the Forum, the dust of the march, the smoke from Pompey's sudden destruction, all of it lies beyond these walls. Here life is ordered, refined, and designed to endure, at least for those who can afford it. As the day ends, the villa grows quiet. The last light fades from the peristyle, and the sound of water in the fountain becomes more noticeable in the stillness. Somewhere in the distance, perhaps faint enough to be imagined, a night bird calls. The household settles into calm, and the rhythm of life continues, steady, deliberate, and unchanged by the passing centuries. And so, our journey through Rome draws to an end. We have walked the endless miles beside the legionary, feeling the weight of his armor and the steady rhythm of his march. We have watched Julius Caesar's rise and his fall unfold in the marble heart of the Republic. We have stood in the silent streets of Pompeii, its life preserved in ash and stone. And we have lingered in the shaded gardens of a Roman villa, where time itself seemed to move more slowly. Across these 4 worlds, one truth remains. History is not only shaped by great events, but by the patterns of everyday life, the small, repeated actions that form the rhythm of existence. In Rome, as in every age, those rhythms could be harsh or gentle, filled with struggle or with comfort. Yet each was part of the same story, the same tapestry of an empire that still leaves its mark today. Now, in the stillness of your own room, the sounds of that distant past begin to fade. The tramp of boots on a dusty road grows softer. The murmured debates of the Forum drift away. The fountain in the villa's garden falls silent. What remains is a quiet calm, the kind that comes when the mind has traveled far and returned safely home. You are here, in the present, surrounded by familiar things. The air around you is still. The day is done. Allow your thoughts to settle, as the dust once settled over the roads of Rome. Let the weight of history rest gently behind you, and let the night carry you into its own steady rhythm, peaceful, unbroken, and deep.